7 o'clock, July 28th, planning and zoning meeting. Roll call, starting from the right.
Charlene Lavoy, alternate.
Adam Quagliaroli, seated.
John Cooney, secretary.
Willard Platt, chairman.
Peter Marchand.
Rista Malaka.
Scott Eisenhower.
Matt Smith, alternate.
Okay, under agenda review, I want to move 6B up under 4A. I'll make a motion to do that.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Okay. Is there any other agenda reviews anybody want?
Just a few quick notes. You'll see we have a new member with us tonight. Matt Smith has been sworn in. He is our alternate on the commission. Welcome, Matt.
Thank you.
Also, Lauren is going to be taking the minutes remotely, so we've already verified she's got a good connection. We're good to go with that. And then just lastly, we omitted, or we should be adding old business number 6C, which pertains to PZC application 25-12. It does show under public hearings, but just an error, it didn't make it onto old business.
Okay, any public comment from anybody other than the applicants? No? Okay. So we're going to move on to PZ 25-13, and at this time, I'm going to recuse myself and leave Peter in charge. And sit Charlene in my place.
You can step up and tell us what your project is. I know you were here last meeting.
2 weeks, yes. All right, thank you.
We did get your photographs that you had
Good, oh, we got everything.
got those, more of them, yes.
Jim and Lynn Brandolini, Per
Yep.
Track, 272 Per Track Trail. We're here asking for a special permit for a fence. We've read the regulations thoroughly, and the way we interpret them, we follow them as pretty much exactly. The fence is over 2 feet from the property line and transitions from 6 to 4 on the south side, 20 feet from the water. Fence is black vinyl with open slots. On the same side, the fence sits below our yard. So when you're looking at the survey, the fence is 3 to 4 feet below our yard, hidden in the woods. It doesn't affect anyone's view or sunset because of its location in the woods. And it's at lake level. Our yard is not at lake level. Our backyard is good, like I said, at least 3-4 feet higher than it. You'll notice that right on the survey, it's pretty clearly marked the elevations. So if you look on the south side of the property, the fence is marked, and you can see the difference in elevation between our yard and the lake level. I think that's pretty clear, right? You got 887, and it's 883 down by the water. South side neighbor being Laporta on that side. On the north side, it's a 4-foot fence. We've planted a whole bunch of perennials on her side of the fence, kind of make it look nice. We put some mulch over there. The fence protects our pet, our 13 grandchildren, one of which is a 5-year-old autistic little boy who happens to stray. It hides an incredibly unsightly chicken wire fence that's been up for over 4 years. It clearly devalued our property, so we're tired of looking at it. Along with hiding a lot of unsightly debris, there's what appear to be 4 abandoned propane tanks, there's an abandoned jet ski and a lift in the backyard, piles of canoes, rowboats, haven't been used in 5 years, and we're really hoping it was going to stop the dog from seeing us, but unfortunately that didn't work. So, that's our project. The fence is up, as you probably already are aware. Matt has looked at it, so has Jeff and Jeremy. Any questions? We have pictures from like a lot of different angles, so if you're not sure what picture goes where, just fire away.
Full disclosure, we did not include all of the pictures that you provided. We chose
Just a few.
for the file.
The important ones, which were very nice, very,
Yeah, we kept Walgreens busy, I think.
any of the members have any questions for the applicant? Adam?
I was hoping to get a view from your neighbors towards your fence.
We have that.
Yeah, because that's where the line of sight could be obstructed to the Highland Lake.
I I saw that, my kayak and took some.
Yeah.
The one, it was definitely in that
I'm
plan.
sure it was, we might have.
But the other
I
side
don't know
is
that I have those.
from this
No,
neighbor's yard.
this did not.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is their yard.
Which one?
This is your yard.
The
That
good,
is,
Is that right? This is your.
yeah, that's right, yeah.
So we don't have one from the other
We,
side.
well,
There were a ton of them.
so can you grab those?
Do you have those?
I did walk down there, and I have seen that view,
Okay.
and it's, you have a nice wooded lot.
Yeah, you can't really see the fence from the
Yes.
lake.
And the fence does extend almost down to the lake, right? So on that neighbor's side,
You were talking the south side?
your northern side.
Northern side,
Yeah,
okay.
your northern neighbor
Yeah.
view, if they're looking to the left, look at the lake to the left, you'll see your fence, but you see a wooded area, which is, like you said,
Correct.
Yeah.
Would it-
I was gonna say is, the fence is well in tune with the environment around the house. As long as your neighbor is not,
Because the lake's already blocked by the wooded.
yeah,
Correct.
yeah, it's naturally blocked.
Yeah, per regulation, we went with 4 foot on her side, 4 foot on both sides, obviously, up within 20 feet of the lake.
Yeah, yep, he's looking.
Yeah, there's a lot of
into
woods, the fence is hidden in the woods
From
nicely.
the neighbor's backyard. Oh, this way. His yard, their yard comes around like this. Did you happen to get a consent form from the northern neighbor or any consent?
But they were,
I didn't, that,
they were all notified though. They
but
all
yeah,
got
per the
letters.
yeah, I didn't see that we had to notify, I mean, we notified
We
for the meeting,
notified
but I
them.
didn't know we had to notify.
Whatever Shane gave
Yeah.
us the list, there were 5 neighbors, they
Yeah,
all
yeah,
got
they all got
letters.
letters.
And I know she got the letter because she called me and said, what is this about? I said, well, it's a fence. She said, okay. And she saw the sign, and she doesn't have any,
Right,
she
she's a nice
would have
lady.
told me if she had an issue,
No,
I would
she's good.
assume.
I just wanted to explain why I was asking for that photo, and I did go down and look at it.
Okay,
It
that's
looks
good.
We have the photo.
Yeah.
Well, we used to have the
You
photo.
see, you picked the wrong one.
I mean, the greenery looks like it would be blocking the view
Yeah,
any more than the
trees,
fence
there was
would.
more than the fence wall,
Yeah,
yes, it does.
we have really nice wooded
We're
lot,
lucky.
which is very nice.
Yes. Any other members of the commission? You too, Matt, I mean, as an alternate, you're, during the public hearing, you're able to comment?
It conforms well to the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a very nice looking fence.
No, it does. You've given us very good detail and photographs and everything, as far as I'm concerned, so. If no one else has any questions, I'll close public hearing, PZC 25-13. And then, see who moved up, old business, you can stay.
Okay.
Um,
So, we're gonna close it?
Yes, I just closed it. Yep, make a motion to close it.
Yeah.
I'll second. You
Okay.
vote on closing it?
Yeah.
Okay.
All in favor of closing public hearing? Yeah, unanimous. Okay. Now, we've moved up old business, PZC 25-13, applicant James Brandolini, location 272 Perch Rock Trail, application, special permit application for fence in Highland Lake District. Let me just see if I find the move. I'll make a motion to approve application 25-13, special permit, owner, applicant, James and Lynn Brandolini, address 272 Perch Rock Trail, proposal, special permit application for fence in Highland Lake District, section 415-13B3. In evaluating this application, the Planning and Zoning Commission has relied upon information provided by the applicant, and if such information subsequently proves to be false, deceptive, incomplete, and or inaccurate, this permit shall be modified, suspended, or revoked. 2, this application is consistent with the town's plan of conservation and development. 3, this application meets the criteria and standards of 3J, common regulations, special permits / special exceptions.
I'll second.
Okay, John seconded it. Anybody got any comments, any conditions? Okay, no discussion? All in favor? And approved.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome, thank you.
Have a great night.
John, don't forget to sign it seconded by.
Where'd Willie go?
Yeah, send Willie back in. Yeah, I'll pass it over. Yeah, you gotta sign it where it's seconded by you and approved.
Right.
Yep. I gotta sign to approve.
It hasn't been that long,
Well, I didn't even sign it approved by, so I'm no bad
Yeah, I
one.
was gonna say, I didn't.
Okay, that's how bad that is. Oh, you're back, okay. I turn the meeting over to our chairman.
Well, I'll give up, I'll sign this one, because I voted on it,
Yeah, you voted on it, you have to, yep.
and I'm unseated again.
Now we're gonna continue on to public hearing PZC 25-12. Applicant Town of Winchester, proposal to amend zoning regulations, Article 3, Section 415-13-3, Article 4, Section 415-43, rearrangement of section numbers to maintain alphabetical orders, Article 5, Section 14-54, and Appendix A. So open the public hearing.
Big crowd.
Big crowd. Okay, make a motion to close the public hearing.
Well,
Second.
So these are all the ones that were emailed to us, right?
Yes,
The other day?
yeah.
Yeah, no changes.
And we discussed that at our last meeting.
We just held it open because of the
There were-
30-day window for notifying McCock, but I've gotten a response back from Rob, so.
We did get a response?
Yeah,
And it
and
was,
no comment.
We're talking about all the changes right now.
Yeah, this is fences in the HL district, cleaning that up. It's helipads, adding definitions for a helipad, changing the definition for manufactured home, mobile home, and then just a couple of minor changes to the appendix A and the use table.
So I do have, I do have an issue on the fences. Because I thought we were gonna get clarity on the 9 feet view shed in the side yard. How does that interact with the setback, the fence setback?
So I think there's still a 9-foot setback for structures that stays in place. So I think that's still relevant.
Width of the view shed shall not be less than 9 feet and shall be located within the side yard of the lot.
Right, so that
That
pertains
includes
to
fences.
decks and sheds and, I don't know. what
This
else.
is in the fences.
Pergolas.
This is within the fences and freestanding walls. Yeah. Because that 9 feet came back up again when we were talking about the setback, but it's present up in the forward paragraph.
Which subsection number is that?
It's A of the revision. So it's this third paragraph.
Oh, okay, so, I mean, public hearing is open, so we can modify as needed. Do we want to just delete that sentence?
So is the public hearing still open, technically?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so you guys can speak
Yes, I
during the public
explained that to
hearing.
Matt
Yeah.
during the previous
Okay.
one, that the alternates can speak during public hearing.
So do we want to quantify view shed from the public right away? Right now, we're not. We're just saying kind of subjectively, where is it?
Yeah, and I think
What
there's,
section are you in again? Sorry.
So, third paragraph, it's subsection A.
yeah, subsection A, it's the last sentence of subsection A. 415.13.3A, the final sentence. And this, yeah, you're right, so this comes down to that, originally there were 2 setbacks for fences written in there, the 9-foot setback and the 2-foot setback. And we all agreed that a 9-foot setback for a fence didn't make sense, so we were gonna stick with the 2-foot.
2 foot.
There is elsewhere in the regulation that it speaks about a 9-foot view shed.
Yeah.
Within 415.13, not 13 subsection 3. And so my feeling is we could probably just delete that sentence there.
I would agree, because I think that's an enforcement nightmare. Where are you measuring the view shed from?
Right, it is an enforcement nightmare. And it's impractical to anybody trying to locate a fence in that district as well, or really anything.
you're talking about maintaining a view shed, but then you're also requiring vegetated plantings along the
Yeah.
sides of the fence. So you're kind of like, as we just discussed with the last application, you know, in that case, the plantings are more of an issue than the fence is.
Can we limit the height of the fence in that area?
Right.
So are you suggesting that the sentence, the width of the view shed area shall not be less than 9 feet and shall be located within the side yard of the lot, just be deleted?
That would be my suggestion, with relation to the fences in particular.
We as a commission could still have the power authority to not grant a 6-foot fence across the front yard,
Yeah.
right? Because it's blocking a view.
Right.
We don't need that 9 feet there
That's right.
to allow us to say that.
Yep.
Scott, you have anything to add?
No, I'm just, I made some comments on this, but so far I'm good. I agree with eliminating the view shed.
I do as well. The enforcement would be crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree.
Nothing? You okay?
Yeah, I said I
Okay.
agree, yeah.
All right.
It-
So, motion to close the public hearing?
Well, did you
No.
add anything else?
You're back.
I'm good with that. And then one
You're
other
back.
thing is, I'm back.
Okay.
You add that sentence, fences and walls must be designed to be semi-open are piled stones, rock walls. Are those walls? Like, you naturally, just a field stone pile up into a wall, is that a wall? That's not gonna be semi-open.
So, where is that?
That is in subsection B. All fences, walls must be designed to be semi-open. Used to be fences only.
Oh, yeah, and walls should not be there,
Oh, so taking out walls.
right? Because, right, I mean, how,
Not easy to build
Yeah.
it's not easy to
Stone
build
wall
a
with-
semi-open
Right.
wall.
I'd like
right?
to
And the
see- I'd be
walls
great.
are regulated, the height of walls are regulated differently anyway, so, okay,
Yeah, 4 feet.
yeah,
You could build a 3-foot one.
right, right.
Good catch there, Adam.
Yeah.
Keep it coming, Adam. What else you got?
I think that's all I got.
Oh.
This is why I've got 8 other eyes to read through
Yeah,
this
right.
stuff before it gets approved. So we'll note that when we get to a decision on this, we'll just want to add those 2 things as a condition that whoever makes that
Yeah,
motion.
have to
just
write
put
those in the
note.
conditions. Oh. Give it to Adam to write.
Yeah, that's what's gonna happen.
You brought him up. Close the public hearing.
Hurry.
We ready to close the public hearing?
Yeah.
Got anything more? John? Charlene?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second.
Okay.
We'll vote on it.
So now we're gonna vote on this.
Vote
I'll just give this to Adam to read, since he's gonna add all the extra comments. Let you make the motion.
Try.
That's the best way.
Moving forward. Applicant, Town of Winchester, Connecticut. Motion that the Winchester Planning and Zoning Commission adopt the following rezoning regulations, text amendments. Updates to article, we're talking about fences only, right? This is a motion for everything.
This is
So no other,
25-12.
Yep. No other discussion. Alright. We have no other discussion on helipads, all that, everything else? Okay, so, start over. To approve application number 25-12 zoning regulation change. Applicant, Town of Winchester, Connecticut. Motion that the Winchester Planning and Zoning Commission adopt the following zoning regulations text amendments. Updates to Article 2, Section 415-13, subsection 3, fences and walls in the Highland Lake District. Modify setback requirements and clarify language. Updates, let me do, updates to Article ID, add new section regulating helipads as Section 415-43, rearrange subsequent section numbers to maintain alphabetical order. Updates to Section 5, Section 415-54, glossary of terms, add definition of helipad, modified definition of manufactured home, and mobile home, update to Appendix A, use table, clarify uses of zoning by zoning permit, include change of use in existing spaces as ZP use in certain zoning districts, add helipad as SP use in certain districts, add landscaping construction yard, which was left out as a scrivener's area, what's that? I
Now you
never-
get to add your,
Okay, and then, conditional approval on section 14-13 subsection 3, which is eliminate the language of the width of the view shed area shall not be less than 9 feet and shall be located within the side yard of the lot. That sentence, that is, 415-13 subsection 3
You have to write that
subsection
down.
A. I have to write that down.
Yeah. You have to add
This is my penalty?
Teach you a lesson.
Can I get these drafts ahead of time?
That's good.
Probably.
I've got 5 more to add, Adam, so.
If you
I'll
call
give it
in
to you.
your suggestions, yeah.
Subsection
So small.
A. Oh, God. Conditions 415-13 subsection 3 subsection A, eliminate the width, quotes, the width of the view shed area shall not be less than 9 feet and shall be located within side yard of lot. Additionally, eliminate, 415-13 subsection 3 subsection B, eliminate the words and walls.
From,
And I've
from,
got,
from from each place?
No, just the
Just-
second sentence.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
based on Jeremy's suggestion that we should put on there that these changes and text amendments of the regulations will become effective September 1st, 2025.
to scribe? All right. All right, made by Adam Quagliaroli, seconded by,
John Clooney?
oop, I gotta sign, you gotta sign.
Gotta vote on it.
We got a vote.
Oh, you gotta vote.
All in favor?
Good thing it passed.
Okay. You gotta sign in favor too.
It's coming back this way anyway.
You sure you got enough ink for this?
I'm running low.
This way.
That way. The others have to sign it too.
No more.
Okay. So now we're on to item number 7, new business. PZC 25-14, applicant Town of Winchester proposal, text amendment to Article 3, Section 415-25 to include language that allows the commission to request technical reviews and consultants and to charge the applicant the fee of said review. And the hearing's scheduled for August 25th, 2025. So we don't really do anything now, right? Okay.
The town never had that before?
No.
It's codified in the wetlands regulations, but not in the
Zoning.
planning zoning
The only thing in
regulations.
zoning was for LID. There was nothing else in the zoning.
Because I remember when a golf course came through here, the planning and zoning sent it out for outside review.
That was, well, are you sure it wasn't in the wetlands?
Wetlands did, and we used the same consultant in planning and zoning.
It's a pretty common practice. It
Yeah.
might have been done as a matter of course, but
Yeah,
this
is
will
common
lock it
practice.
up.
I'm glad it's in writing.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it hasn't been, but.
The language was
We were
not there.
surprised too.
Okay, now we're on to other business. Discussion of joint meeting with the Economic Development Commission.
Yeah, this was brought to me by EDC's new chair, Tom Carter. He would like to start meeting with all the different land use commissions, but specifically you guys. And just to have a discussion of, aligning goals and making sure everyone's on the same page and pulling in the same direction and working together. So he wanted me to ask you if you guys would be willing to have a joint meeting with the EDC, and if so, we can work on scheduling that. I think it would be more of a workshop, if you will.
How's the board feel?
I mean, I think we should. I mean, we've met with wetlands and
Yep.
zoning board of appeals in the past, and those were very productive.
I have no problem with
No.
it.
I think it's great.
All right.
So I'll report that back, and we'll start trying to hammer out a schedule on when to do that.
So now,
It'd be nice to have it at least once a year too.
yeah. So I have an addition to other business.
Sure.
Now that we have parking lot ordinances or regulations, should we start looking at getting the Meadow Street parking lot next to Little Red Barn legal with a
So-
plan?
I'll turn that over to Rista.
Yeah, so I actually have to get you those proposals, they're in my car.
Okay.
So the Northwest Hills Council of Government received a $200,000 assessment-only grant for that parking lot and for Meadow Street that's adjacent to it. All of the contracts are closed, we received 3 proposals for the work. We'll review the proposals, hire a consultant, and then part of that work is going to be identifying what contamination is there. If any conceptual plan, site plan, that matches a remedial action plan that the town can then use to do final engineering, get their approvals and construction. So that's underway.
Okay.
It'll be a few months still, that's 6 to 8 month, depending on who is selected, a 6 to 8 month project for all the assessment work, but I can try to prioritize some of that work. So maybe we can get it a little bit sooner, but it's in the process underway to try to figure out what that should look like and the design should be with the environmental contamination, if there is any.
That's great news.
Great.
I have a question under other business. Were we gonna look at eliminating, the rest of the fences, not the Highland Lake District fences, but other fences?
So I think, you know, and we've been kicking this around a little bit in the office too. I think an interpretation from the commission is fine, because as we went back through the regulations, where it's coming from is your definition of structure. And so if the commission agrees that other than the Highland Lake District, we don't include fences as a structure for the purpose of permitting, then we just stop that.
Do you want a motion of that, or do you want
I think a
us-
motion's probably a good idea. You
Why
know,
would
just-
you not the same regulations for all the lakes in town? No, you want them separate?
It is, you know, the Highland Lake District has its own set of rules, and then the rest of the town is just regulated, I mean, the fences are just regulated as a structure, just to, you know, so they comply with the setbacks and all the rest of it. That's how they're treated, as opposed to in the HL district where they have this whole section that we discussed earlier tonight.
So when a zoning enforcement officer goes up to Park Pond or something or someplace, okay, and he wants to know about, when somebody asks him about fence, he use the Highland Lake fence regulations?
No. The Highland Lake zone is
Yeah.
a zone unto itself.
But anybody up in Winchester who wants to put up a fence has to come and get a survey and a permit and everything, and meet the setbacks, which I think fences are really more of a civil matter. I think that there's really good reasons around certain areas to regulate them, like Highland Lake. If we wanted to do something special around a different lake, I think we could look at that separately, but from a city or town-wide perspective, having an enforcement officer manage that, I think, is a waste of time. They're mostly due to civil action anyway, or neighbor dispute. And
The problem is when he finds out about it, it's usually already up.
right, but why, have you ever regulated that in any town you've worked in?
Fences,
Fences.
yes. You have to get a fence permit, a zoning permit for a fence.
Like they have to be 9 feet away from the property
Oh,
line?
no, nothing like that.
Right, so why would we treat a fence like a structure?
Typically, the way I've seen it is they require after a certain height, I think it's over 7 feet in the building code, it requires a building permit. And so then that'll also trigger a zoning review, because a building official can't issue a building permit without a zoning permit first. But anything underneath that height, you know, which is, most fences are gonna be 6 feet anyway. It's pretty unusual that you get one more than 6 feet. So out in the rural residential district and all over town, I mean, it's sort of an added cost for homeowners to go get their property surveyed, then they gotta come in here and get a permit, and then Jeff's gotta do the sign off, and then the inspection. It's a,
What setback are you holding them to?
2 feet.
But that's not in the regulations.
Right. We call it common practice, and advise them for 2 feet, so they can maintain it without trespass, and usually people go for it.
Right, but that would never be enforceable in court or
Right.
an appeal or anything of that sort, so, I mean, what I've done in towns that I've been an enforcement officer is, put them on your property line or before, recognize you have to maintain them, and if your neighbor doesn't let them on your property, you gotta find a way to maintain it from your side.
Any limitations on front yard fence?
there's nothing written in there currently.
Yeah, you
So-
can't block sightlines.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
that becomes a traffic issue, not a zoning issue.
And it's gotta be on your property. You can't put it out in the right of way
Right.
anyway. You can't put anything out in the right of way.
And commercial properties still need to put anything on a site plan.
Yeah.
That would come in.
So how do we handle that?
I think, like I said, I think an interpretation from you all that a fence doesn't, with the exception of in the HL district where it's clearly spelled out, that we don't need to be reviewing it and requesting a zoning permit. That's all we really need. If somebody wants to make a motion to that effect, we can simply say that, it's a,
So do we need to add this to the agenda first?
we could do that. I mean,
Well, if we're gonna make a
we're not
motion,
changing regulations, we're not doing anything like that, we're just, Or if it's just guidance from you all without a motion, I think that's sufficient too. Right, we're having this discussion, if everybody's
We don't have any
on the same
regulations
page,
now
there's
on
nothing
fences.
written, and I think
So then,
it's just been
if
common
there's no
practice.
regulation, why do we have to say anything?
Right.
Right.
Well, I think because it's being interpreted and it has been interpreted different, and so to change that, we want to document that. So what I think I would like to do is, I would like to make a motion to add to the agenda discussion and, commission interpretation on fences as a structure. Is that okay, language?
Yeah.
If you get a second.
I'll second it.
Yep.
I'm in favor of that.
All in favor?
To agenda.
Who seconded that?
I did.
That's just to add it to the agenda.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, with this being added to the agenda, we don't have to publicize it or anything like that? We're just
a
good?
discussion, yeah, you can
It's
add,
just a-
it's not a special meeting, so you can add to the agenda, and it's just a discussion topic, we're not changing any regulations.
Okay.
There's no public hearing involved, it's just an interpretation from the commission. It's just like anything else where staff comes to you and says, okay, commission, we need to know how to handle this.
Okay. So we need to take a vote on this now.
Well, hold on. I'm looking at structure. So it's already added to the agenda, right? That was voted on?
Yes.
Alright, so then I'd like to make another motion. That the correct me if I should use different language. The interpretation of the definition structure as currently written. A structure is anything constructed or erected with, which requires location of the ground or attached to something having a location on the ground. Should exclude fences that are 6 feet or less, with the exception of fences that are regulated within the Highland Lake District. Or 7 feet or less, 7 feet.
On your enforcement items, are there any fences?
Not currently, but we have had some fence kerfuffles in the past. And
Are these-
typically when they keep getting problematic like that, we refer them to, this is a civil matter between you guys anyway. So it's a big big use of time, I should say.
So, read your motion again.
Okay, I didn't write it down.
Okay, write it down and read it again.
My structure as defined in the regulations. Should exclude fences 7 feet or less, except where otherwise regulated in,
Highland Lake District.
yeah, but if there's other places where it's regulated, like such as a commercial zone, like site plans, whatever, except otherwise regulated in these. In these regulations, is that right?
Is it 6 feet or less or 7 feet or less?
I think it's fine, 7 feet or less, she said.
And that's what triggers the building code.
Yeah.
So,
And the only reason I'm pushing for this is being in Jeff's shoes and being in this for so long, something like this can take an astronomical amount of enforcement time. It's usually just two neighbors battling, and it's also, I think, an unfair expense to residents. So it doesn't really provide much benefit from a regulation standpoint. So I do think it's, that's the only reason I brought it up again, and I think that it should be addressed.
so,
So your
board,
enforcement letters, when they go out, you don't have like $100 a day fine after 30 days? I mean,
So,
is it
yeah,
that
our
weak?
enforcement letters do come with $100 fines after 14 days of receipt if it gets to the point of an official violation letter.
Okay. Something like this, you wouldn't send a letter. You would just let the neighbors fight it out themselves.
Correct.
So that means if I was poor, my neighbor had money next door, and I could never fight him on this fence, and I'd have to live with it.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the case now, regardless of this
Okay.
change.
I didn't think the town took back seats like that. We used to have to, zoning enforcement, wetlands, we'd enforce it right away, make it happen.
So what if somebody
But
doesn't
enforce-
have a lot of money and they put up a fence, now you're gonna make them go get a survey and spend thousands of dollars?
But enforce what, Scott?
Enforce if it's, let's say it's supposed to be 3 feet, 4 feet, and he's got it 6 feet or 8 feet.
But didn't you just say we've never really had that in there?
We don't, yeah, we don't have a
We've
setback.
never had that in there, so what were we enforcing? It wasn't a regulation, it was just kind of a,
Well, the one I'm thinking of was on Lake Drive, when we had Lombard, he put an 8-foot fence up.
yeah, no, I
So we
understand what
jumped
you're
on it
saying,
right
but
away.
we've never actually, when he said
if I
we
let it
haven't had
go-
regulations, it's like,
And just point of clarification, an 8-foot fence would have triggered a building permit, and then there is more
And that's
teeth
why
there.
we went after him right
Oh,
away,
yeah.
because it,
okay, so there is something that already triggers that example, so,
so that must have changed since I was here 25 years ago.
yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, building code changed just a couple of years ago. I think the last update in 2021 is what triggered the 7-foot requirement. I think it used to be over 8 required a building permit, and they dropped it down to 7 to catch the 6, leave the 6-foot fences, but anything above it, I think is how that went. I can't quite remember. But the other thing is, most of the time in my experience, most of the time if we get a complaint on a fence, it's because somebody installed it on the wrong side of the property line. And that's not something we're gonna enforce anyway, because that's always a civil matter when a property line comes into play. We're not getting involved in that. We're gonna sit back and go, you guys have to figure this out. We're not surveyors.
that's
We
not a
don't tell
zoning-
you
that's
where
not
your
a zoning
property line
issue,
is,
that's
you
a-
tell us where your
Yeah,
property
so
line
I'm very surprised at that statement.
And I also feel like if we said, okay, we're gonna give you a permit for 2 feet, and that's not in our regulations, we're opening ourselves up to lawsuits that we're gonna spend a lot of attorney's fees and lose.
It's, people need to know where their properties are, and they need to follow the rules.
Right, and you can put your
And
fence,
that's on them.
put your fence up, and if you don't know where your property line is, your neighbor wants to get a survey.
Challenge it, right.
Keeps the town out of it.
any further discussion? Scott?
I'm good. Not good, but I'm good. Seems like the system's getting weaker, that's all, and it doesn't protect the residents. That's where I'm coming from. I can't go to work tomorrow and somebody's got a fence up and not do something. But I think it's,
So-
I think it's the generation.
The way I
because-
feel now is, if you want to put a shed up, you got to get a permit.
Yes.
Now, I personally had to get a $3,000 survey to put up an 8x8 shed. Cost more than the shed did. So,
At least it's on your property.
huh?
At least it's on your property.
Oh, yeah, I knew that before the survey.
Yeah.
So, I'm a little mixed on fence.
But apparently, we've never been
If we never
regulating
had it, that doesn't, yeah.
That's
So
what's
then,
more interesting about it, is there's actually, it's been being enforced, but there's never been a regulation that's actually enforcing it.
So
It's
years
kind of
ago,
practice.
years ago it was enforced, and then as times changed.
What was
it's-
enforced?
Fences.
Was there a reg then?
Yeah, we used to go out and enforce fences if you put a fence up and it was.
But was there a written regulation about fences and
Shit,
what?
I think we had 12 pages of fence regulations at the time.
We should be able to see that, right? Prior revisions?
Sure.
It was
Yeah, we
probably
can pull up
taken
our older
away
regs.
Because it was,
I'm good if the service is
But if we
less
don't
than-
have, if we don't have the regulation, and all this is doing is just saying that the fence regulations doesn't apply to the rest of the town, then we're not creating anything other than what's already in place. So I guess I can be good with that.
And if you wanted a shed and you knew where the pins were, and you knew where the pins were, and you knew you were safe, I'd say you don't need a survey, because you know right where it is.
Yeah.
So if you don't need a survey, we tell you, but if it's right on the line, then we need a survey
Mhm.
on smaller lots.
But you're not gonna know that.
If you can't show me your pins, then the answer is no, until you can show me your pins, or come to the
Yeah, but
town
how do
hall.
I stop you from putting up a fence?
That's the problem, you wouldn't unless you
Yeah.
called the zoning officer.
And then they're gonna say it's civil matter.
It's civil matter, you're on your own.
But even if they do,
But they're still saying that now anyways.
Right. Right,
So I guess I just need to bend with the times, I'm okay with that.
I mean, yeah.
People, I don't think people would be happy, especially if you had half a dozen at the lake and the fences were on somebody else's property or
But
somebody.
the lakes will continue.
The
to
lakes
regulate.
now
We don't
regulated
regulate property
specifically.
lines. We just don't regulate property lines.
Right, right.
We regulate setbacks, and
Because
if
we-
we're not gonna require a setback, why are we gonna make people tell us where the property line if there's no setback?
And we typically are in the business of regulating structures with ground coverage as well,
Right.
or permanent structures that,
Right.
you know, are used, you know, have some sort of use tied to them, whether it's an accessory shed or whatever the case may be, whereas a fence doesn't have a roof, it doesn't, I mean, yes, it's located on the ground, but it's not a physical, you know, it's not, there's no ground coverage involved.
I've worked in Goshen, Berkhamsted, New Hartford, Torrington. None of those towns have ever regulated fences.
And it sounds like we haven't, but I'd be interested in what Scott's saying. I mean, I've been here 35 years. I'd like pull out some old regs from the 90s and see if there was that kind of regulation.
You would never know because the zoning enforcement would just go out and enforce it.
Yeah, well, but there'd be a written record of, I mean, we have the old regs around.
Oh, yeah.
I have a set of.
They're all posted.
Yeah, I have a set of 1990 regs, so I can look in them and see what the fence regs were. But, I mean, I'm not suggesting you wait if you want to take that up, but I think historically it's an interesting point.
There's plenty of communities out there, and if, you know, if the commission wants to go in this direction, I don't see an issue with it. There's plenty of communities out there that say, okay, here, you know, they'll give you a regulation and say, here's what you need to do with fences. If it's over 7 feet, it requires a permit, but if it's under 7 feet, it doesn't require a permit, but it still has to be 2 feet from your property line, or, you know, 12 feet from the front line, you know, that, it gives you the dimensions and the location of where it needs to be without requiring a permit. So that way, if you get a complaint, you can go out and say, yeah, clearly it doesn't follow the letter of the reg. You can do it that way. It's how we did it in Southington when I was there. It's how we did it in East Hampton when I was there. But it didn't require a permit. And so it very rarely was an issue, except when we got those calls from somebody who said they put a fence on my side of the property line. Well, okay, go get a survey, show us that it's on your side of the property line, and then we'll deal with it.
So I have to deal with that every day when I go to work. People call and complain about a fence and they want me to do something about it. Okay.
And can you? Or you're saying you did that in the past?
No, I still do today.
It's in the regulations.
Yes.
What
I don't
time's
know.
it?
We have a-
I think
what
with the
time?
younger generation, things are changing, to be honest with you.
Well, I think we have so many other things.
What town, Scott? for you?
Plymouth.
Plymouth, okay.
I think we have so many other things with our regulations, with our plan reviews, with the stuff we're trying to do, to have Jeff spending his time on that, but.
Yeah, I think it's a problem in that you don't have a regulation. So we're regulating something that we don't have anything written down for. So if somebody comes in and says, I want to put up a fence, we have no guidance in terms of where the fence needs to go, then Jeff is expected to issue a permit, and then if there's a problem, enforce it. Well, what are we enforcing it? You know, if he gets a call from somebody out, not in the Highland Lake District, but somewhere out in Winchester Center, what are we looking for?
So
We're looking for a property line, but if, you know what I'm saying, there's nothing written down. So if you want to put something in writing, that's fine.
Well, what we typically ask for is, I'll just call it a site plan, even though it's really just for the fence. And they'll mark in, 2 feet from property line or something like that. So that's what I would be enforcing or attempting to enforce, but it's not regulation driven, it's picture driven. So, and in cases where there's tight property lines, lake we don't have to talk about because we're already gonna regulate it. But we may be forced to require a survey of someone. If they want us to permit it, we need to be sure of the location.
But if we
So
don't have-
there's an undue expense.
If we don't have the
that-
regulation, they can't be permitted.
Yeah, none of that
Just
applies.
So-
they're allowed.
So basically, somebody could come in, 7-foot high fence,
No, because
That's building permit, so it
That's
gets a
already-
review.
7 and below. They can
only
do.
so put up a 7-foot high fence
Oh,
on the
7.
boundary line, all around their property, up to the boundary line in the front, on an intersection or on a corner,
well, then you have sightline issues.
then you have sightline issues.
That's
Right.
already covered.
That- Well, the local traffic authority and the police department and public works would have a problem with the front sight line issues, especially if it's an intersection, so they would.
But we don't
plus-
have any regulations for sightlines,
Well, wait,
for
plus-
fences.
Plus, you
Well,
can't
that's
put a fence
right
at
away,
the
so-
very front of the property because the right-of-way goes into most properties in, at least in town, Winston. The right-of-way goes halfway into most people's front lawns on Holabird and
Oh, yeah,
Walnut and
it's-
so
So
forth.
if you're off the right of way, like he's saying, you put up a 6.5-foot fence, then I put another foot on for a light and an extension, the way the regulations are written, I got 7.5 feet and I don't need a permit. And it could be a solid fence, I just create my compound and stay out.
So why do you care? Why do you want people to come in?
So you have,
Somebody
you
wants
have
to
a
live in
neighbor
fenced-in yard.
who's got 5 junk cars on his property. He puts up a 7-foot high fence, got a gate on it. This one neighbor can see it from his second story, but you can't see it.
So they show him a picture and he says an enforcement letter.
But he can't prove it's there.
Yes, he can.
How does, the
Take a
neighbor,
picture-
the
take
neighbor
a
shows a
from the
picture.
second floor of
The neighbor shows a picture,
neighbor.
but how does he prove that that was a
That-
picture of his neighbor, of the
That's
offense?
provable.
I just thought the fence regulations for every water body in town is what I thought.
Yeah, you don't have them. You have just the HL district. It doesn't cover anything else.
And Lake Winchester is typically estates that have plenty of property, so that's not a problem. Park Pond, I don't know if there's a fence near Park Pond, to be honest with you. It's
Yeah.
more of an open,
There is at the camp.
is there?
Yeah.
Oh, at the camp.
There's a
Okay.
couple smaller properties that have
All right.
some fences, but I don't think they go down the water line.
Yeah. So, you know, different areas are gonna have their different issues, but, I mean, HL definitely needs those regulations. It's, people are on top of each other.
Well, I'm good with it, you're the one that has to enforce it, so.
Correct.
If it becomes a problem, I guess we write regulations,
Yeah, we could.
like we did with driveways.
Will we know it's a problem? Do you send them to civil, or do you actually have a feel on the matter, like, in terms of?
I think we would probably have a good feel of it. Most people would start their complaints here in the land use office, and if we have to direct them to the courts, you know.
And typically, if it's at like that, there's a lot of other neighbor fighting going on. There's a- It's not about the fence.
It's a
That's
historical
right.
feud.
That's,
I thought fences made good neighbors.
They do.
yeah, you're supposed to, right?
They do.
Tall fences make good neighbors.
And they have to be fences, right, because I'm dealing with somebody that's got pallets,
Pallets?
pallets. and
They
he's-
made a fence out of pallets?
Yes, and he's trying to keep his horses in and neighbors complaining, so I can tell you right now, that thing, I'll be issuing a
We might have
violation.
other ways to attack that.
There's one
Yeah.
of those on Front Street,
Yeah, that sounds like.
made out of pallets, yeah.
I saw
Not
that
my
the other
problem,
day.
though.
Yeah, right.
But that's
Maybe
sad to-
his,
Yeah, but that's sad to say, isn't it?
I thought you were gonna get away with nothing tonight, huh?
The land use
Sorry.
police officer.
Well, that's the problem, right? It's, you know, we try to keep ourselves out of that stuff as, you know, try to keep yourself out of that as much as you can. And you end up in these neighbor battles that, right, it's not about the fence, it's about umpteen other things.
And I also have a very strong belief that it's private property and people have rights on their property to do what they want. We have regulations to protect neighbors and to protect the values, the health, safety, and welfare, but if somebody wants 5-foot fence or 6-foot fence and 2 feet or 3 feet, I mean, we gotta protect the property values and neighbor, and you can't, you know, junk cars devalue the property, they can cause environmental contamination. But people have a right, I mean, if we're regulating things just to be the police, to say we can, I just don't, unless there's a reason for it.
All right, everybody done?
I'm done.
Sorry, guys.
I think we got a motion on that, but I don't know that we got a second or a
I'll
vote,
second
did
it.
There's our second.
we? All right.
That was for fences.
All right, all in favor?
We don't get a vote.
I know, just a habit.
Okay, approval of the July 14th, 2025 regular meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the July 14th regular meeting minutes.
I'll second it. All in favor?
I'll abstain.
Rest
You
of
have
abstain.
enough anyway with the four
Yeah.
to do it.
And then communications from the ZEO report.
So all of these are now in OpenGov?
They are.
Okay.
Oh, okay, when you say here, so.
Click on that.
This won't work.
I know.
Yeah, that doesn't work, but on your computer screen, when you got it in an email, any of those things that are blue
Yeah.
underlined, you can click on.
But what's the actual thing to get there? OpenGov?
It's-
That's where you go?
Yeah,
to
it's
get it?
open.
Yeah.
So I'm in the process of writing a piece for the Highland Lake Watershed Association newsletter, which discusses OpenGov, all its uses, and
Yeah.
how to look
Great.
up properties and such.
Perfect.
So when that gets finalized, I
Oh,
can
yeah.
cut the top of the paragraph off and
Send it
issue
over.
it to
Right.
all of
That's
us as
great.
well.
Love that.
But just for a snapshot, we were able to just spit out this quick report of code enforcement issues in town. We did break it up by active and complete, so you could see there are quite a few that are ongoing. And, you know, there are still other enforcement issues that never make it to an actual enforcement record. You know, I can call someone on the phone or email them if they have that contact, or even if knock on the door and work things out. So those never really make it to paper. But lots of action out there, I'm sure Scott understands.
But I agree with you, if I can verbally take care of it, I don't
Oh,
put it
yeah.
on paper.
Yeah, you don't want
I
to
just
go
need it to
through
be
all
done
that.
quick.
Right. And as always, if you have specific addresses you're interested in, you could ask me. Soon you'll know how to look them up on OpenGov and follow there, but whatever it takes.
Anybody have any questions?
No, that's good, Jeff, thank you.
Not on that, but other questions for him?
You got questions? Go ahead.
Well, not about this report. Trailer park, what's going on with all that?
Yeah.
Did you notice a building was missing?
I watched them take it down Sunday.
Yeah.
That was something.
It's great to do stuff on the weekends without permits. I've been in contact with Michael Block, who is the owner of the properties there. It's actually two properties, 928 and 936. The Mainway Auto Building, which previously stood there, was taken down without permits. He is in the process of pulling the permits, and he's also paying the post facto fees that go along with those permits. He also needs to get a wetlands permit because of the distance to not the river in the back, but the river across the street, because it's 100 feet or less from the area of disturbance. I did allow his contractor to cart off the remains of the building because I was on him to stabilize it and put up silt fencing around.
Yeah, there's silt
And it
fence
just
there today,
kinda
and
made
they
sense.
gravelled it and leveled it off with a bulldozer.
They gravelled it too,
Oh, yeah.
okay. So more work that he's done without discussing
Take a
it.
look at it, you'll see.
But anyway, once we work through all that, he still doesn't know what his end goal is for the site. He would like to bring in some additional trailers. Last year sometime, I went down the rabbit hole, and I think I found proof that there were 2 additional trailers on that lot compared to what's there now. It's really incumbent upon him to prove to us if it's any more than that. But I have stressed to him he needs an updated survey. He's gonna have to come in with a site plan before the commission
But
and go through the whole process.
Those trailers are on the rear lot, not the front lot. 'Cause
Yeah, that's
they're
what I was
two-
just gonna
two
say.
lots.
Right, 2 different lots, yeah.
Yeah, the trailers were only permitted to the rear lot.
Correct.
Doesn't it look
Grandfather.
like they came out, or that's
No,
just
not
because
yet.
the
It's just-
building?
Well,
It
the
looks that way.
fence has been
Okay.
There
taken
was a
down
fence
too
there.
that used to
Yeah, so,
separate,
yeah.
a bit of an optical
Yeah.
illusion.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised if he wants to come forward, but again, that's gonna be driven by
Yeah, and I
whatever
heard,
approvals.
I
he
heard
gets.
rumors he was looking to change the driveway location also, which, I mean, then he's gotta get a DOT permit for the driveway access in there.
And we did
So-
inform DOT of his encroachment in the right of way as
Right.
well, so they're working their angle.
It doesn't
to-
seem to bother him, though. He's just going ahead anyway.
People don't care.
No,
It's amazing.
I had a person move a house on a weekend in Coburg.
Moved
Waited
it.
to the weekend, modular house.
Yeah.
Up here where the gravel operation is, up here in Route 8, put the house in a trailer, took it up through the woods and put it on some foundation. No permit.
Cool. So we are working with
It's
Mr.
common.
Block on that.
Can't make it up.
Okay. And ECAD, where do we stand with that situation?
ECAD, I spoke with Alan Borghese last week after it was brought to our attention that the dumpster has moved from its approved location to an unapproved location directly on the fence line with Dr. Cavalieri next door.
Unapproved parking lot that
In
was
the
illegally
unapproved
built,
parking lot, all
which is
that.
still there.
Yep. Long story short, Alan says he's gonna be getting in the application for the dumpster pad and enclosure, which will be in the approved location. I gave them 2 weeks to get this application in.
Did they already remove the original dumpster enclosure that was there? Because they,
So
dumpster
there
should be
was no
back where it
pad.
belongs.
I'm sorry?
The dumpster should be back where it was originally permitted for, till they come in and get permits, not sitting by Newfield Road, where everybody could see it driving up and down the road.
Well, like I said, I gave them a clock at 2 weeks because I know they're working towards the permanent location. So, I mean, we could escalate it if you like, but we.
I'm just, whatever.
Given the history, I think
Because-
if you
Yeah.
don't
We've
do
got
it,
an
then
illegal, we've got an
they-
illegal parking lot that's been there for 5 years.
yeah.
And he obviously, well, he's had an approval for a second building, and he was gonna take care of all these issues,
but
and
it's
hasn't.
Never coming.
No. And now he's violating our regulations again, and we're giving him weeks upon weeks more.
I'll reach back out tomorrow.
I mean, why can't he take his tractor and move it back to the permitted location until they're ready to start construction? I can understand temporarily, when there's construction, he needs to move it to a different location, but he had a permitted location with an enclosure. That's where it should be, because right now it's next to a wooden fence. If there's a fire in it, it starts the fence on fire, and the fence is 20 feet from the neighbor's house, and we're dealing with a structure fire. So, that's my problem with it. Then I'll have to be dealing with it
All right.
at that point.
I'll reach back out tomorrow and demand to get moved
All right, so
back.
when he comes in for a permit, how long does he have to put his structure up for the dumpster? His pad and his fence?
Once he gets the building permit?
Yeah.
I'm not an expert in building permit rules, but
years.
technically, as long as, one nail gets driven a day, it's still active. So if you carry that
So
forward.
Peter's thing is even then more.
Right.
What's he getting a permit for?
So the pad that's gonna be poured needs to be inspected for the footings and so forth.
And it's gonna be in the same location.
Same location, yeah, site plan driven location.
But
And
it's
I'm not sure if
approved-
the fence is gonna be the super high fence like they have on the perimeter or not. That'll be part of what they tell us in the
Because one
permits.
thing you might be able to do, and it was approved on a site plan, instead of issuing a zoning permit, maybe you issue a simultaneous enforcement action that cuts that time frame. If they're in violation of the site plan, that's a violation, and to remedy the violation, you issue a permit, but you still have to comply with the violation within.
He said 14 days, so it'll be
Well,
done in
right,
2
but
weeks.
once he gets the permit, instead of just saying, okay, you have your permit, there's no more, everything's resolved, now you can nail one nail a month for
Yeah,
the life of it.
What location is this?
so,
Do you know where this is?
Newfield Road.
I heard
Newfield.
Newfield Road.
ECAD.
Oh,
One-
ECAD.
149 Newfield Road, it
That
is.
one still?
It's been relatively quiet, as a matter of fact. I thought to myself, wow, it's been quiet. And then the dumpster thing happened, so it was my fault.
You going up there? Are you gonna go up there again?
Well, I'll reach back out tomorrow, phone or email. That's how
So-
Illegal parking
we've
lot
been
that they
working,
filled in,
but I
the
will if
dumpster's sitting
necessary.
Right there next to the
Might as well
fence.
check out the evergreen border that had died off
Yeah.
because they wouldn't take.
Oh,
the
up and back.
temperatures. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
See
it had been improving last year, but yeah, I haven't been there, so it's a good excuse to
Yeah.
make the ride.
so part of this is because bears were getting in this dumpster.
That's the story, yeah, and there may have been
Is there
firearms
some
discharged.
guidelines that are out there for keeping,
While
like
we're at
electric
it.
fence around the top or something?
So, our regulations just call for the dumpsters to be screened. It doesn't talk about bear proofing, nor does it talk about, residential trash totes. But as you guys are well aware, bears have been very active this year, and we're getting a lot of tipped garbage complaints. I wouldn't mind if we set a regulation requiring the bear resistant, containers in
That-
town.
So now you get back on adding costs on people because the bear-resistant container is an extra fee,
Yeah.
but you don't take the trash.
It's always a balancing
If they're
act, right?
screened appropriately, that should keep them out. I mean, if the, you know, if the fencing is high enough, it should deter.
For the
them.
dumpsters.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
that's
correct.
what
I had a bear
Yeah.
break into my barn at my door apart to get my garbage out.
Oh,
No, they'll do it, yeah. We had one next door take the fence down to get to
Yeah.
the bird feeder.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bird feeders should be illegal.
Yeah.
Birds don't need food. They got plenty of food without us supplying them food.
Anybody got anything else? Motion to adjourn.
So move.
All in favor?
Right. We're good.
Good.
Jeff, on this one on Wetmore Avenue, we have enough time to go push this out till August 11th? Yeah, you do. We do? Okay. I thought we did, but I just. Okay.